Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, all glory and honor to the Father, Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Hamasiyach YHWHshi. Double honors to the elders, and peace and serenity to the brothers and sisters in this 144 that's pushing this truth. Shalom. So I'm reading this story right here out of Bloomberg, right? And this one's called African swine fever is spreading fast, and eliminating it will take decades, by Jason Gale, Hannah Dormido, and Adrian Lueg. Printed June 5th, 2019. And let's get into this story. So the deadly pig virus that jumped from Africa to Europe is now ravaging China's 128 billion pork industry and spreading to other Asian countries at an unprecedented disaster that has prompted Beijing to slaughter millions of pigs. But stopping African swine fever isn't so easy. I don't know why you want to stop it. The virus has caused a hemorrhagic disease, highly virulent and tenacious, and spreads in multiple ways. There's no safe and effective vaccine to prevent infection, nor anything to treat it. The widespread presence in China means it's now being amplified across the country with 440 million pigs, half the planet's total, and the vast trading networks, permeable land borders, and farmers with little or no ability to stop animal disease. So, the Most High is doing us a favor and taking out the pigs and spreading them into disease and scaring the heathen to death, really. Oh, my pigs! I can't have my pork! I can't have my bacon! Nope, no more pork, no more bacon. Most High doing you a favor. Y'all just taking it the wrong way. The number of pigs China will fatten this year is predicted to fall by 134 million, or 20% from 2018. The worst annual slump since the U.S. Department of Agriculture began counting China's pigs in the mid-1970s. While the pig virus doesn't harm humans, even if they eat tainted pork, the fatality rate in pigs means it could destroy the region's pork industry. Look at that. Yeah, that's a blessing. Yep, that's a blessing. They see it as a bad thing. They printing this whole thing as a bad thing and scary thing, but it's the Most High just cleansing the earth. Spain's experience with disease suggests that a cull alone won't be enough to solve the problem. The country implemented strict sanitary measures and industrialized its hog production system, but it took 35 years, and it helped from the Europe Union before the disease was eradicated in 1995. The Italian island of Sardinia has been trying to unsuccessfully to get rid of the virus for 4 decades, and its hog population is a fraction of China's. Not looking good, Ock. Not looking good. He's ripping a hole through everything. Yep. This brother, the Most High, has got pigs and all types of diseases running around, all around that northern edge, all around Europe, and it's just spread everywhere. So a lot of pork eaters are going to be upset. And probably for bringing bad pork to your area, it's going to cost more to die off. And then you're really breaking the law if you're really still eating dead pork. Yeah, you're going to get sick. Some type of pestilence is going to cleave to you. You mess with that. Mystery source. One of the reasons why African swine fever is so hard to eradicate is that it's easy to transmit. In addition to direct contact with an infected pig, the virus can be passed on to animals that eat virus-laden pork or feed via contaminated clothing or equipment, or when pig drinks water containing even a minute quantities of the virus. So it's easily dispersed, and they don't know how to stop it. Studies show that the strand in China closely resembles the one that's been spreading in Russia and other parts of Europe for more than a decade, but scientists still don't know the route it took to get into the world's most populous nation. Without knowing how the virus got in, China's customs officials will have a harder time preventing repeated introductions. No, your harder time is just giving up pork. He's here to fulfill his law. You keep eating pork, he's going to kill you. Disease, everything. It doesn't matter. Keep choosing. He's telling you that lifestyle's over. Y'all just ain't listening. The disease is now in Mongolia, Vietnam, North Korea, possibly other neighboring countries that lack the resources to identify and control the disease. That increases the risk that even if China does manage to control the disease domestically, it could re-enter the country via people or pork products that cross the border. So there's no way to get rid of it. Dirty garbage. Scientists say the virus may have arrived in China the same way it entered Europe in early 2007. Whenever they start something off with saying scientists say the virus may have arrived, that's a hypothetical guess by some boys who sit in their closet staring at computers trying to figure out through their computer programming that they can find out how it possibly may have got in here and played all these simulations. They don't know. A United Nations report suggests some food waste containing pork was dumped from a ship visiting the port of Poti on the Georgian Black Sea, and when eaten by one of the local pigs that are allowed to scavenge on garbage, within weeks 30,000 pigs had died and 80% of Georgia's district were thought to be infected. They was eating them dirty pigs. And they said, oh, I'm sick. Stop eating pig. It is unclean to you. Pigs and their feral wild boar cousins are quintessential waste disposal units, guzzling on protein from a wide variety of sources, including kitchen scraps, manure, and dead hogs. While the omnivorous nature of the animal makes them low-cost nutrient converters, it's also a key reason that African swine fever spreads easily. Now, I don't know what kind of satanic label that is. While the omnivorous nature of the animals makes them low-cost nutrient converters, if that's what you want to call it, they ain't nutrient converters. Trying to make the pig sound like it needs to be eaten. No, brother, give it up. Stop reaching. Right? A review of outbreaks showed that almost half were caused by the spread of virus material on vehicles on non-disinfected walkers, with feeding pigs contaminated swill or food scraps the second biggest source. Feeding raw swill to pigs has been outlawed in China because of the risk of disease transmission. They eating dirty pigs, yo. That is nasty. But clandestine use of non-heat treated restaurant and household waste is reported to persist among suburban and smallholder farmers. About half of China's producers raise fewer than 500 hogs each. So far, government efforts to halt the spread throughout quarantining and sanitizing infected farms, culling vulnerable pigs, closing markets, and restricting the movement of hogs have been insufficient. Yeah, they didn't work. And the disease has become entrenched across the country, and it's going to be soon across the world. Syrup dish. So the virus is also hard to track. Really, you think? Pigs may incubate it for 5 to 15 days, can shed infectious particles for 1 to 2 days before falling ill. That means the virus can be silently spread in the waste, meat, and blood of the infected pigs that don't appear to be sick, especially when they are illegally transported or slaughtered before diagnosis. Oh my God. So it basically has free reign to move and nobody can stop it. Why? Because you pork eating, pork chop pastors. That's what that is. You pork chop pastors. You pork chop pedo pastors, man. In China, pigs are routinely trucked hundreds of miles as farmers and traders seek to take advantage of regional differences in livestock, in meat availability and prices, as well as preference for fresh meat. When hogs arrive at the new farm, they are typically mixed immediately with other swine, facilitating transmission of the disease. I like how they threw that swine in there on there. You know it's swine. You know exactly what it is. You shouldn't be touching it. Let it go. Hiding outbreaks. Identifying outbreaks early is critical for mitigating their spread. The Chinese government has pledged to pay a subsidy of 1,200 yuan per pig to compensate farms for losses, but some local governments are reported to be withholding payments, removing an incentive for farmers to report the disease. So, wow, they literally are hiding this information of pigs being caught up. So they're catching it. People are reporting it and saying, "Hey, I got a sick pig," and the cops are like, "Don't worry about it. We wrote it down. Somebody will get on that, and don't say anything about it, and let the problem persist." So this is not a very smart move by their leader in China to sit here and allow his people to just eat bad pigs and allow disease to come through now that he cannot stop. He's not going to even try to stop it. Not going to talk about it. So this is going to lead to a major decline coming out of Chinese territory of weak malnutrition. It's going to be, the food is not going to be healthy for them. It's going to definitely cause some type of disease. Now you're getting disease changes and genetic changes out on the planet from dead things and dead carcasses, and they're spreading. And people are sometimes, they say they're eating these things and still, oh, I'm not getting sick, but the pigs are getting sick. Oh, so it's okay that you have this flesh inside you. Like, this stuff won't change. Brothers and sisters, the Most High came to fulfill the law. He came to fulfill the law. In some instances, individuals have even been punished for publicizing outbreaks. A hog manager in Shandong province was allegedly arrested for reporting infected pigs to the national government after efforts to alert local officials were ignored. Look at this. The government fighting against itself, man. They want themselves to destroy. This is just kind of ironic, dealing with heathens and Esau and his bloodline. They just have the intent to want to destroy themselves. It really does come down to just leaving these people alone and don't getting involved in none of their stuff. Saturated blood. The virus, though, doesn't need traveling swine to spread. A single drop from an acutely affected pig can contain 50 million virus particles, and just one of those particles ingested in contaminated water, drinking water, may be enough to transfer the disease to another pig. Wow, so it's very easily transmissible. Infected blood or fluids from the urine, saliva, or feces can be carried in dirt on truck tires and shoes, allowing the disease to travel hundreds of miles quite rapidly. Containing sources required heating to 60 degrees Celsius, 140 degrees Fahrenheit, for 30 minutes to be rendered safe. So you gotta cook it to be considered safe. All right. Tens of thousands of swine have been infected in China, and their carcasses represent an enormous environmental risk, requiring careful handling and disposal. In Romania, the contamination of the Danube-Salakia River from dead hogs was implicated in the virus's spread to a 140,000 pig farm. It's just growing. Tough survivors, germ is hardy, capable of remaining active in water for a month, in meat and blood at room temperatures for several months, for 6 years in cold, dark conditions. Its resistance to temperature extremes can survive a day in vinegar strength acids. Look at this craziness, man. Nothing destroys it. There are no published studies reporting the incident of African swine fever virus detected in food in China, but the virus has been in Chinese pork products that were confiscated by customs officials in Japan, South Korea, and Australia, suggesting that the virus has permeated the food chain in China. Look at that. Now they're using it as a weapon. They're passing it out. Even in China, is able to stop the virus transmitting from pig to pig. Two other disease vectors may frustrate eradication efforts: wild boars and ornithorhynchus ticks. These are the natural host of African swine fever virus and are widely distributed in China, though it's not yet known what role they are playing in spreading the disease there. Zhejiang province, south of Shanghai, has about 150,000 wild boars, and they got no vaccine. Despite 50 years of research, scientists haven't managed to develop a vaccine that's safe and effective against African swine fever. Even if recent research proves fruitful, it could be years before the effective shot becomes commercially available. They ain't even they're light years behind, basically. They ain't even got a trial set up yet, let alone anything that could even thought imaginable to stop this. They have no idea. So this is going to turn into the next generation that there may not be any pigs, which is going to affect the ecosystem and eventually, as these animals start dying off. Studies have found that animals which recover from the initial African swine fever infections are resistant to some other strains, but scientists aren't sure what exactly confers the protection or how best to evaluate the potential efficacy uh, of candidate vaccines. One of the difficulties is that the large, complex DNA virus that causes African swine fever has some 170 genes and 80 proteins, many of them specialize in invading different aspects of the pig's immune system. They're still testing the pig. More recent attempts to produce an immunization using viruses that lack key disease causing genes appear to be safe. Still, researchers are yet to carry out large field trials to demonstrate effectiveness in commercial farms or necessary step for gaining regulatory approval. They may delay the availability in game-changing vaccines for the years. Right? With tough virus to eradicate, no vaccine on the horizon, the best way China can protect its domestic pork industry from African swine fever is to carefully monitor and control the germs on every pig, person, product entering and leaving the hog farms. That would mean turning China's 26 million piggeries into veritable biocontainment facilities. Great job, guys. We're in the next Chernobyl running around here. That is beautiful. Right, let's go to Leviticus 11 and 7. Right? So, this is Leviticus chapter 11, verse 7. And the swine, though it divide the hoof, and be not cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. When the Most High says something, I'm pretty sure he's very serious about it. So, if he's telling you it is unclean to you, you should not eat it nor touch it, he's honestly doing you brothers and sisters a favor. I wish you just listen and stop eating it. He did not create animals just to be food for your stomach. He gave it to be life, to sit here and cultivate the earth. When you don't respect everybody's position in what their lane is, and it gets all out of whack, bruh, we're living in a mass extinction. In the start over, reset button. But you don't want to listen. You want to keep ordering your bacon, your pork, you know what I'm saying, your sausages, your hamburgers. You want all your beef. You want all your meat. These things don't do anything for you. They taste great. I'm not going to knock that. They taste great, but brothers and sisters, the healing of the world is in the herbs. It's in the plants. Listen up. Right? This is Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 8. Right? And the swine, because it divideth the hoof, once again, yet cheweth not the cud, it is unclean to you. You shall not eat of their flesh, nor touch their dead carcass. How many times does he have to tell you to leave that thing alone? Just don't even touch it. It is unclean to you. Leave it completely alone. The Most High is doing you brothers and sisters a favor by allowing it to take itself out so that you can stop eating pork. But it also needs the pig to freaking clean the earth. I don't know why you nasty people are eating that stuff. So if it eats doo-doo and you eat the pig that eats doo-doo, you are what you eat. Doo-doo. Like, come on, brothers and sisters, wake up. This is Isaiah chapter 65, verse 4. Which remain among the graves and lodge in the monuments, which eat swine's flesh and broth of abominable things, is in their vessels. See that? Which eat swine's flesh and broth of abominable things, man. Some of these people are probably still using those pigs that died in the hurricane. All these pigs, that's another reason why. Because standards are so lower around the world that all these rich, uppity white folks is gotten these high positions they're not even caring about. Wait, long as it's get there. Give me my money, get it there. Not thinking about all the diseases and all these other reasons why you don't do that, and it causes more problems. And so they're learning the hard way. It's not going to be able to control. So Jacob is the savior. We're going to have to save and teach you people how to manage the world. Right? Let's go to Isaiah 66 and 17. Right? They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh and abominations and the mouse. You see that? And the mouse. You think that's chicken wings? Think that's chicken? The little baby mouses they chopping up, man. They eating rats, cats, dogs. They mixing all in. That's all in China. All in the Asian countries do all that. They mix all that money, that meat. They don't care about it. This meat is meat. Once you start mixing flavor and seasoning on it, it could be human meat eventually. You would never know with these people. I'm pretty sure a lot of them will become cannibals if they don't have their meat. It shall be consumed together. It shall be consumed together. Thus saith Yahweh. All these things that people are going to be eating these things, he says, they're all going to die together. So all these people sitting there saying, oh, well, this disease isn't doing anything to the humans, but it's doing something to the pigs. So some people still are eating this. To honestly know this, they know they're still eating that meat. They don't care. And that meat is poison. So they don't know what it may change into. It may adapt to the body. They got it in them and it adapted them and create something completely else off of African swine fever. That this is going to get really, really bad, brothers and sisters. All I can say as advice to this article is leave the pig alone. And with that being said, Shalom.